So my thought is that you would have to be so hardcore into backward compatibility for this feature to be such a big deal. This past holiday season, the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S went on great sales, and a lot of people picked up a Series X. I touched on this somewhat with my Welcome to the Family video, but I really wanted to do a follow-up on this to kind of figure out, like, why would people actually buy this? And I know that seems like a silly question because you might think, yeah, they're finally upgrading from their Xbox One, but one of the reasons I ran into was actually the backward compatibility of the Xbox Series X, which is of course going to have a lot more backward compatibility just having a disk drive. And after reading a ton of comments, this was actually a huge thing for people. So it really got my wheels turning. Really, how big a deal is backward compatibility in 2024? One of our brand new Xbox owners said to me, backward compatibility is a must. Another person said that the moment that backward compatibility stops being a thing, I'll just keep the Series X and jump ship. Which is kind of confusing to me because he said if he'll jump ship, I don't know where he's going, if he's still keeping his X. And I did a video a while ago saying how many games are actually backward compatible right now, and really explaining what Microsoft even considers backward compatible. And you can check that out right here if you want to take a gander. But when I made that video, I really wasn't thinking that this was like such a big deal or such a huge draw for people to continue to have an Xbox with a disk drive. But if we head over here to Xbox, we can click on games and then we can click on backward compatible games. They've got their tagline right here and they say play thousands of original Xbox 360 and Xbox One games. And it's so crazy to me to think that a game would be considered backward compatible if it was on the Xbox One and now can be played on the Xbox Series X. Of course, I was around since the original launch of the Xbox, and here they tout 5,324 games that are all considered backward compatible. So what does this actually mean? That means that all of these games were originally launched not on the current series of Xbox, but can currently be played on your Series S as digital or on your Series X in a disc format. But let's check out everybody's favorite generation, Xbox 360, and we can see that there's 657 results for backward compatible games. And that makes me think, wow, so over 600 games from my Xbox 360 can be played on current gen? That's pretty dang good. And if we look at backward compatible original Xbox games, we get 61. Okay, not as many, but you got some good games here. All the Star Wars series, Splinter Cell, Morrowind. And this really drove me to the question today. And that question is, how often do I actually go back and play these old original Xbox and Xbox 360 games? And Xbox does claim that your older games are going to benefit from newer hardware. Frames per second boost, higher resolution, and that all sounds great, but how often do I actually play these older games? Especially being a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, and I've got over 400 games right now that I can fire up and play at any time that I want. And with Bethesda and ABK joining the Microsoft ranks, we're gonna see more and more of these older titles start coming over to Game Pass, and I feel like we're moving towards a place where backward compatibility will be obsolete. And another commenter explained it this way: in 5 years' time, all of those games will be worthless as technology advances. Talking about playing games on a disc. You need to think of the future and stop looking back at the good old days. I don't want to play any of those games for a PS1, 2, 3. You move on. The legacy of classics is preserved via remasters and remakes for the future hardware. You really don't want to be playing the original Tomb Raider on a PS5. It has to be remastered, otherwise the experience is painful. And I thought he had a lot of really good points. Go back and watch an old video for just the overall quality, the overall gameplay, the overall controls for like an old Tomb Raider from PS1 or PS2, and it's absolutely nothing in comparison to today's technology. So my thought is that you would have to be so hardcore into backward compatibility compatibility for this feature to be such a big deal. And unfortunately, I also have to agree with his statement of technology advancing. The further we get out away from discs, which we've seen with the next PlayStation and the next Xbox, the further away we're going to get from those older games. And the only way that you're going to be able to play them is going to be by maintaining a collection of yourself for things that you can play on disc. So if backward compatibility is a big deal for you, then yes, make sure that you've got it on your Xbox. Go check out all of the amazing backwards compatibility games that Xbox still offers. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely applaud Microsoft for continuing this backward compatibility. Leave me a comment, let me know how big a deal backwards compatibility is for you guys. I've been John, by the way. This here is the Xbox Basement, and we will see you guys in the next one.